What's up, my dudes? We're back at it again with another video. Just trying to keep this content rolling, you know. Trying to get everything in here filmed that we can do and get it up on the channel so we can get the views, get the subscribers, get the likes, comments, all that. Get the channel rolling, you know. But this is what we're going to be working on now. This is my buddy and his brother, and I know them both. They're both my friends. And their other brother are actually starting a towing business. So we are getting this truck ready to be viable for towing. I'll turn the lights on real quick. Not much light, I guess. But the bed itself looks pretty bad. We have to replace the frame rails in the bed and any of the floor that's got a hole in it. So over on that side, we'll have a small piece. And then we already pulled the bed off and we were grinding a little bit. We were doing some of this while we were finishing up the exhaust on the white hatch. And we're just trying to get most of the big chunky shit off, sand it as best we can, and then coat it with some rust reformer, which will turn the rust to a paintable surface. And it kind of seals it so it doesn't continue to rust. And then we can coat it with some like truck bed liner. That was a big issue with this truck. So we definitely want, this will be used for a long time as their business truck. So we definitely want to make sure that it's going to last. So that stuff will go on, and then we're going to coat everything in bed liner just to seal it in, make it look nice, and just make it be able to handle the weather. We were told that it was sitting for a while. I'm thinking it was sitting in a wet area or something, because you can't really see it as much, but like this stuff, if you can see that chunky shit was literally everywhere. So that's a lot of oxidation. So we have to get all that off. I'm gonna real quick go around, scrape any of the bigger chunks off, and then we're gonna sand it as best we can to get like most of the rust off, and whatever's left we're gonna clean off, and then coat it with the rust reformer so that the rust is no longer rust and it's a paintable surface, and we can then coat it with the bed liner. So once we're finished with that, we're gonna move on to pulling these bed rails off, and I'm gonna have to weld on new ones, but we have all of the new ones over here in this box. And we have the when they're using it for towing, they're gonna put a third wheel, or I forget what the other term is called. I didn't mean third wheel, I meant fifth wheel, but they also call it a gooseneck, and it's able to handle a lot more weight, because they bought, this is a 2010 or 2011, I think it's 2010 F350 Super Duty Lariat. It's, you know, got the good leather. It's only got 69,000 miles, power stroke 6.7. It's a F350, and yeah, so we're gonna get the fifth wheel on, or the gooseneck, so that we can they can have like 40-foot trailers, and then once they get their CDL, that we'll be able to do literally anything they want with the truck and trailer. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get this thing cleaned up for them. They'll be here helping, and once this is finished and coated, we're gonna get onto the bed, because once that's done, all we gotta do is bolt on the fifth wheel or the gooseneck, put the bed back on, and it's we have to cut a hole in the floor. We'll cut a single hole right here in the center, and literally the truck's done and ready to be used for hauling. So they wanted it done by the end of this week, but we might be pushed into next week, which is okay, because they don't have a trailer yet, but they're still looking. But we still want to get it done as soon as possible. So yeah, once the frame is coated and the bed rails are done, we can just throw the bed back on, hook everything back up, and they're good to go, and they're set. So I'm gonna get some of the big chunks taken off still, and then we will catch back up when I'm about to sand everything, and try and get it cleaned up and get it ready for coating. All right, I got most of what I could with the big chunks stuff. My buddy Christopher took care of most of that, so that's good. But I went around and found some more, and I chopped them off or whatever. So I'm gonna get to sanding this and trying to get this surface looking like almost bare metal, if not bare metal, so we can get this thing coated. All right, guys, Tony showed up. We got the bumper off, and I got most of the frame like sanded down to where we should be good to coat it. What we are going to do though is we're going to media blast most of this stuff so that we can get it just that little bit more clean, so that when we do coat it, we're for sure coating it and it's not going to like come back worse. So we just got the bumper off. We're going to get this thing blown off and maybe do a little bit more sanding, and then once it's there, then we can start sand blasting or media blasting and coat this thing with the rust reformer. After that, we wait till it dries, slather on some bed liner, and then we're ready to start working on the bed. All right, we're pulling some of the harness back, so when we blast it with the media, we don't blast any of the lines. So we're gonna pull it back to roughly about where we need it. Probably tape it off so that we don't blast it with the media. Most of it is cleaned up, so it's looking pretty good. Definitely gonna have our work cut out for us. We gotta blast it, clean it, seal it, wait for it to dry, and then put the bed liner on it, and then hook up the fifth wheel, the gooseneck. So, but we're gonna get this pulled back, and then probably blast it tonight, most likely. All right, I don't know where we left off with this. It's been 2 days because I wasn't filming yesterday, so I didn't come over here. But we're gonna blast this thing now. We got the kit, 50-pound kit. I don't know if we're gonna need more, but I'll grab more if we need it. And we're gonna just start blasting this thing, getting all the rust taken off. You know, just the surface stuff, whatever's left on here. And then we're gonna coat it, which will turn any of the existing rust into painted metal surface. And then we will coat it. And then this will be finished, and we'll be working on the bed. So I'm gonna get this blaster set up and then start blasting this stuff. All right, I got the little kit set up. It says 50-pound kit, but that was a 50-pound bag, and it didn't all fit in there, so that's a little weird. But it's hooked up. Got the line ran into the gun. We got a swivel on the gun, so it gives us more dexterity. We can, you know, move around with it, whatever. This slip fits on, and we're ready to go now. So I'm gonna set up the camera. I'm gonna put on my thing, put on my glasses, and get to blasting. Alright, so weirdly enough, this sand blasting or media blasting, I believe it's walnuts, is actually not doing anything. So, and it's making a massive mess, which I expected, but, and I can't turn the regulator up because it won't spin. I think it's frozen. So I'm gonna wait for my boy to let me know what he wants to do, and we might just clean it off and coat it with the rust reformer, and then wait for it to dry and coat it with the bed liner. But I'm gonna wait till he lets me know what we're doing. I'm gonna kind of clean up a little bit, and then we'll go from there. All right, I just had to hit the store. I actually picked up this stuff called rust reformer. That's what I thought I had last time, but I had rust stop, which is what you put on something in preparation that it doesn't get rust in the future. We have to turn this rust back into paintable surface. So we need this stuff, rust reformer, which will make this rust basically go away. It does some type of chemical reaction and makes the metal able to be painted, and you can coat it and shit like that. So I had to exchange that out for this. This stuff is more expensive, but now I'm gonna shake these up and get the coating. Alright, so first can is empty. It's looking pretty good. I definitely still have some places that I need to touch up. I didn't do the front yet, so we have to coat the inside rail right here, inside rail right here, and then the front support. We also got shocks coming that we're going to replace those because they look horrible. But these frame rails are looking good so far. This coating is actually looks really well. So we still have yet to do underneath this, the frame rails, the support. We're gonna get, I'm gonna crack open the second can and get started on that. It's looking really good, guys. It's looking really good. All right, guys, this frame is basically almost done and coated. You can see it without the light. It looks so much better. It took 2 cans so far. We got a third, so we can just touch up on some stuff, and we have to do the bumper, which is over there. But man, it's looking so nice. So we're just gonna touch up some more of this stuff, make it, more even, and touch up any of the spots we missed. And then once that's done, we just gotta literally wait for it to dry, spray with some rhino liner, some bed liner stuff, and then we can get cracking on the bed and get those bed rails pulled off, grind whatever we need to down, primer it, weld it, sand it. So, all right, guys. So frame is coated. Everything got touched. We're coated on everything. So once this dries, it takes 24 hours. We can throw some bed liner on it and make it look pretty. Right now, we're gonna get the bed moved over into the center where we have more light, and we're gonna start getting these bed rails off. All right, got the bed in. We're gonna clean it off real quick. And then first order of business will be removing these struts, basically, from the fender to the bed. These don't need replaced unless they're broken. These look in good condition other than the frame rail being garbage. So we're gonna pull those off, and then we can get to, we gotta just cut at the seam here and pry up with a pry bar, and we should be able to get these bitches off real nice and easy. As you can see, they go from tallest down to the shortest one. And then this is the widest right here, shorter, short, and then the second longest in at the edge. So we're gonna go ahead, strip these bars down, and then get an eye on how to get these babies off. Just taking off these arms, you can see how bad it is. This bolt wouldn't come out, and so we just, yanked it off the bed. That's just what's gonna happen. Now we got all these arms off. This is probably going to be the most problematic area here, just because of all of the rust. It's like I can take that off probably, but right where the bed meets the firewall, or whatever you want to call it, the wall of the bed, a lot of that stuff is eaten out, and that becomes an issue because unless we buy like the whole floor replacement, we're gonna have spots that go from like this up down to like just flat sheet metal that we have. So yeah, this is probably the biggest issue right here. The rest of this stuff looks like we can take care of it pretty easily. It does look bad, but it definitely looks like we can replace it. Yeah, but like I was saying, so we may replace the full floor bed. We're not really sure yet, but we're gonna start prying up on some of these and try and get these out and see what they look like underneath. We got 2 of the bed rails off. They were the worst bed rail other than the front one. You can see it looks pretty awful with all the rest here breaking it apart. It's just like, ah! But we got, this one is actually in good shape, so we're gonna have to cut these welded pieces out right here. Cut along this line, pry it up, cut along the back line, and get these out. All right, so we got the bed rails off. I finally was able to get this off. We're about to head out for the night, but I just wanted to show you guys an update real quick. This, I accidentally made a hole, so I gotta fix that. And some of the bed up here definitely needs fixed. We're gonna have to find a solution for this. But most of this looks good. I got most of the frame rail off. I'm gonna have to grind and sand all of this down. And all of the rest of the bed rails that's still stuck on here. But we'll catch back in the next clip when we're here tomorrow and we're finishing this thing up. All right, guys. We're back. We're gonna get cracking on this thing. I still have to cut out some pieces of this front bed frame rail and get them out of here. And then I'm going to do my best to salvage these holes because these align the bed bolts to hold the bed down. And it also helps align the frame rail. So I'm gonna do my best to just basically cut right around them and cut out all the problem area. And then hopefully, Tony's brother Christopher, my boy's bed is out there, and we might be able to cut like the rear section right in the middle between the frame rails and then cut that to fit up front here so we can repair this stuff, because this is a big problem. So what I'm gonna do is like kind of basically just cut around the holes and cut out all the problem areas so that we can just get them all cleared up. But first I'm gonna finish taking out the rest of this, and yeah, we'll catch back up right before I cut out the rest of this stuff. This is pretty bad. Alright, so we got the whole rest of the piece off. It's right there. I actually got it off pretty clean. Well, you know, for the most part. I got it off in one piece, so that's nice. So now, looking at this, I'm gonna clean this up. I'm gonna sand it, see what is usable and what's not usable, and then I'm gonna make my cut. I'm probably going to, you know, follow the hole and then maybe come all the way down across and try and get, you know, as close to the hole as possible. But yeah, so I'm gonna sand it. We'll catch back up and see what's usable and what's not usable. All right, I had to get a new wheel, but we're still working on it. And we can see here what we'll need to patch up. So we can see the rust hole, obviously, and you can see this shit is just a little bit more flimsy than the rest of it, and this stuff is not cleaning up. And this is what I would call like dead metal. This shit is like too far gone, I would say, and because the rust has infiltrated it so deep, we'll have to cut it out. So what I'm thinking of is we have this plate that we're gonna use to patch this hole right here. And what I'm gonna do is literally cut super close to the hole, 90, super close to the hole, out to the edge, up probably to about here, over to here to the edge, and then up to here. Once I have that cut out, what I'm gonna do is hold this plate like this over top of it, go underneath, mark where I need to cut that out of this plate, and then I'll have to weld that in. But it's getting late now. I'm about to head out. Next clip will probably be after I have finished cleaning up all this stuff, and we're about ready to cut this out so we can get this get these bed rails on. We still have a lot of work to do yet, but it's getting ironed out for sure. All right, we're gonna get a coating on the bed frame now with this rust barrier. It's also to help keep from any rust and put a protective coating on it. I thought we were gonna bed line it, but we're actually gonna use this stuff. So I'm not finished with the bed yet, but we gotta get cracking on this. So we're gonna get this coating on here. We got 4 total cans, and hopefully that's enough. We gotta coat the top, the sides, the underneath, and get it ready, and then we should be golden on the frame. And then we just gotta finish the bed and get everything good. All right, so we got the frame coated with the rust barrier stuff, and it's looking real nice and shiny. Got everything, top, bottom, underneath, middle, sideways, all that's touched. Now we're gonna work on the bumper real quick. We got the rust reformer on this yesterday. Christopher did that, and then now we're gonna hit it with a rust barrier and try and keep it all, you know, away from contamination, so we can keep this thing in good shape, you know. So we're gonna get this thing cracked out, and then we're gonna be getting back on the bed. While we're waiting on this frame to dry, we're gonna go ahead and get these shocks installed. He got a set of Bilsteins, looking all nice and fancy. And we opened them, or took that sleeve off, and we pressed, got the fluid moving, got the travel going. I heard somewhere that helps, so just want to get that out the way. I'm about to put these things on and see what it looks like. I'm still waiting for the frame to dry. It's definitely still a little wet, but I got the fan on it. This looks really dry for how, you know, it looks way drier than the frame is, so we must have put a lot on there. But it's also a lot cooler right now because it's dark out, nighttime. So we got the new shocks on, front and rear, Bilsteins, looking real nice. The color combo looks like Spoon Sports, but yeah, we got those on. The fronts were a pain, but we got them on. And taking them off, they broke, so that was cool. It came off real easy. So we got the shocks changed. We're gonna head home tonight, come back tomorrow, be finishing up the bed, getting all this cleaned up, and then trying to work on cutting some of the floor out, fixing the spots that we went through. We got to weld over it, grind it down, make sure it's flat, and then really cut out some of the floor and see what we got to do there. So we'll see you on the next clip. All right guys, this video is everywhere, but it's okay. The frame is still tacky. We left last night, it was cooler. Frame is still tacky. We're going to be excuse me, we're going to be assembling the helper bags. These will help level the truck whenever there's weight on the bed. So when, obviously there's weight on the bed, it's going to squat down. These will have air hoses so that you can apply air, fill the bag up, and level the bed so that the truck sits how it should. It got all the hardware and everything, so we're going to get this together, get this on. I also going to run the harness back to where it should go so that everything is back to where it should be. Wow, before we put in the helper bags and before we put in the gooseneck. So I'm gonna get this knocked out. Once this is done, then we can finish working on the bed, and that's literally the last piece, because then we just got to put the gooseneck on and everything is Gucci. So waiting on the frame to dry, putting this in, finishing the bed, putting it all back together, and we're good. Yeah. All right, we got the first helper bag in. Everything is sitting how it should. We just have to put in the line, lock it in, everything's Loctited as it should be, and then the gooseneck will go through this nut, this hole right here, and lock this down as well. So all good here. As soon as we're ready for the we're gonna get the second one in. As soon as we're ready for the gooseneck, that'll go on, and then we're still waiting for the frame to dry, and then getting back to the bed. Like I said before, repeat myself like I do always, but all right, like I said before, this video is everywhere. We got the bed tarp so that we don't get any rust on it from here. We got one of the helper bags on. We're gonna get the other one on soon, but we have to do something with one of the heat shields. But I'm gonna get back to grinding this stuff away, cleaning it up, making it look nice, and probably just gonna skip over this, and I'll show you guys what it looks like when I'm finished, because we have a lot of work to do yet on this. So I'm gonna get cracking. Right, we got the helper bags in. We just got to get the gooseneck kit in right here, which will secure this bracket then to the frame. But what's really cool is these bags come with push lock lines, which is really nice. We have them all ran up, and they both merge into a T that we have right here. And then this T is on the back of the bed right here, that they'll be able to fill the bags up with air, like from, I don't know, air thingy, whatever. But yeah, so that's done. That's cool. That was looking real nice. I'm actually proud of how that looks. I've actually never ran these, but that's pretty nice. The bed is looking pretty good. I got all the spot welds and shit grinded off of that. So all we gotta do really is cut out the metal, repair some of the stuff that we messed up when we were taking the rails off, fill some of these holes, grind everything down again, make it look pretty, prime it, put the bed rails on. We also have to cut this out still. Yada yada yada. I'm repeating myself. We got parts bed over there to get stuff. But yeah, I'm rambling now. But yeah, so we're gonna probably head out tonight, and then we're back tomorrow, and literally same thing, try and get it finished. All right guys, last night before we left, we finished putting on the gooseneck kit. So this is ready. This piece will allow us to drill the hole through the bed, the pilot, so that we can drill the 4-inch hole in the bed. So that's done. The truck's basically ready for the bed to go back on. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. We're going to be getting this thing ready as we need it to be. So I'm going to go over and like clean up a lot of things again, just clean up with the wheel and stuff. And then we can start, I'm going to weld in these holes that we made by accident. All these, I'm going to try and fill these with weld, just so we can, have a floor that doesn't have holes in it. I have to flatten some stuff back out, try and pinch this back, weld that seam, get this thing looking nice. So after I weld them, grind them down, clean them up, and then we just need to focus on the front portion, and then this square right here, because this has got to come out, and then we got to cut most of the front, well, like 2.5 inches off of the front, so that we can replace it with some of the metal coming from the bed. So I'm gonna get set up and start cutting and start cleaning some of this bed up. All right, I went around and I ground all the spots that we're going to be welding to fix the areas. Most of them are down here though, the bigger spots anyways. Now that we have them ground, just so they're cleaned up. I'm gonna start filling them in. What we're gonna do is fill them in, grind them flat, and then on the other side, when the bed's flipped back over, I'm gonna fill them in from that side too, grind them flat so that they are more strong, look even, and yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna get these holes filled in, and then we can move up and start cutting this section out, this floor right here, and then cutting this front piece and trying to make it look nice. All right, I gotta fill you guys in on a few things that happened recently. So, this bed metal is very thin, so obviously I kept blowing through. So what I had to do was literally build up mounds, and I ground them all down. And as we can see, we still got some holes that we need to fix. I have to weld from the opposite side, and that's what I'm gonna do. Try and get that done tomorrow. Also, while grinding this, fucking chopped my finger. And this bitch was leaking real bad. I tried to clean up some of the blood there, but you can see from the drip over here, it probably needs stitches, but I'm just gonna butterfly it. So yeah, I just got done welding that, grinding that, fixed my finger. One of my neighbors actually helped me. And I'm using sanding pads to just try and clean up the material so that we can have better welds when we weld. We gotta cut this plate out. Still gotta cut this front section out and fix a few small things, but it's coming along nicely. Definitely taking a long while. This fucking sucks. But yeah, so it's late. I wanna be back tomorrow and try and continue to fix this shit. But yeah, we'll be back in the next clip and hopefully be done tomorrow, or have at least primed and ready for the rails tomorrow. See how it goes. Alright, we're back. Got my haircut today. I'm feeling good. Now we just have to get the rest of this shit done. So we have to cut out this front section around the holes. We're gonna cut a piece out of that bed, kind of stencil it in, get that welded in. We have to cut this piece out right here, and then take that out of this plate, weld that in. And I also have to fill in some of these holes from the back, from the underneath side, or from the bed side, so that I can actually have solid metal to weld to. Also finish grinding some stuff down, and then we should be able to clean it with the pads again, primer it, and then get ready for the bed rails and put those on. So I'm gonna finish welding the bottom of these holes, and then we'll get on to cutting the front section out. All right, so on this back side, I got what I could welded on this side and the other side, and I got them ground down to somewhat flat. And to be honest, I'm not proud of this work at all. This metal's so thin. This looks like goddamn shit to me. But I mean, we just got to get it in working order, literally. The underside, the bed side, looks like garbage. Like, we're only gonna be able to do so much. I feel like this. I feel like this bed just needs fucking replaced. Like, it's literally trash. But I'm trying to do my best with it. And yeah, so I'm gonna move on to the front section, and I got this vice grip. I'm gonna cut this section out, try to follow the hole, come down across as high as I can without taking off as little as possible. Try to save the holes, and then I'll be able to probably stop like right here, or you know, and then vice grip that up, tack weld that. But I mean, man, this. I think this bed looks like shit. I think the welds look like shit. I think the grinding looks like shit. Like, I'm not proud of this at all. Not one bit. But we're going to get it done because they need it done. So we're going to do it. And then in the future, they can hopefully replace the bed. For what they paid for this truck, it had an incredible amount of rust. And if I had saw that, I would have taken it right back. But yeah, we're going to get this thing, trying to get it ironed out, you know. As best we can, get it mobile, get it going, so they can start making money. So I'm gonna start cutting this section out and see where we have to go from here. All right, so I went ahead and got the problem areas cut out of this. Hopefully we are good here. I tried to save the holes because we need those to bolt the bed down. So I got some measurements out here. I measured this before I cut it from the pieces that were still good. This is about 2 inches from here to where it used to be. And then this area is, I measured from here to here and it was 2 1/8. So 2 1/8 plus 2 is 4 1/8. And then I did the same thing from this side, from here to here. I know this is 2 inches. From here to here is only 5/8. So this section is 2 5/8. So this is what I need. And so I came over to the regular, or the other bed, and from outside to outside is 5 inches. So I'm just gonna cut straight across, cut down the seam right here. Hopefully I can have some material still there. And what I'm gonna do is take that and lay that up on the front here. Well, I'm gonna put a jack underneath here, and then I'm gonna go underneath and I'm going to like measure out or mark out what I need to cut. And then I'm gonna cut that out of that piece and then try and make something work around the holes so that we have something to tack onto the front of the bulkhead wall here, and try and fill in this piece so that we can get on to putting the bed rails on. We also need to cut this piece out too. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut that out real quick, and we'll see how it lines up and how much needs cut off. Cut that piece out, we're all good here. This is almost an exact fit. I use some trimming and I can almost like press it down inside and just have it sit there. I can tack it. I also cut the pieces out of the metal after I mocked it up. This piece fits right against here. We can seam that. This piece will go here like this. We'll have to fill in this spot right there in between the bolt hole and that. But this looks perfect right there. That'll fit in there. And then this piece fits in here pretty well. I have to do some massaging and stuff, but we should be able to get that in. And then we'll just have this slight piece right here. Obviously, that little tiny piece, have to fill that in with a small piece from that. And then I also just have to cut this out. So we're looking good. Didn't take as long as I thought I was going to take. You know, when you're focused, you get shit done. So I'm going to come back tomorrow, probably get here first thing in the morning and knock this thing out tomorrow. If I can get this stuff welded in, and this is good on the front and that plate, all I got to do is brush it down again, coat it, and then we can start throwing these bed rails on. Spray that primer on it, weld through primer, and then tack these bed rails in, and it's done. And it's done. So I'll catch y'all in the next clip. All right, we're back. I'm gonna get some things touched up here, get to welding. I still need to cut the square out, obviously. But I want to get these pieces to fit a little bit better. So I have to do some grinding, take some material away at that, fit a little better, because I'm not trying to really fill gaps with this thin material, because I'm gonna have to burn, it's gonna burn through and shit like that. So I'm gonna do my best to get these pieces to fit. This one pretty much almost fits exactly. I just need to shave a little bit and then we're good here. And then yeah, so I'm gonna get to doing that. We'll catch back up when we're welding and getting this thing together. Guys, so you got this piece cut out like I said earlier. I got it kind of mocked up. It's not where it's gonna be. It's gotta be moved just a tiny bit. But I got this plate cut out, and then I got this one fitted in, so that's ready to be welded. This one is ready to be tacked in place as well. I did stop and grab some of those magnetic things because those things come in clutch. I couldn't really get that centered, but that's good. That's ready to be welded. The front's ready to be tacked. That plate's ready to be tacked. So we're gonna go ahead and get to welding. Show you guys a little bit of that, and then we'll wrap it up and show what it looks like when it's fully done. And then we're ready for the rails. The bed rails. this literally took me all day. But we have the bed, everything patched. Now this metal's super thin, so I'm literally tack, so I don't blow through. But we got the patch panels in. I had to cut some small pieces to fill some space, that, and that. So that's filled in. We have the front rail piece replaced. Again, 3 pieces that I had to fill in, and that piece filled in. So also that. Now, only thing we have to do is there's cut 2 or 3 small holes that I just have to fill up, and then we can clean it up. We're gonna set the front rail on. We're gonna see what touches, if any of the welds touch. That way we can grind them down, get them ready to be, so it fits flush how it should, and then we can tack down the rails. All right, I just got everything kind of ground flat where we need it to, where the frame rail is going to almost basically touch. And now that we have everything good, we just got to clean up the bed, get the rust all off. We'll vacuum it, we'll wipe it down kind of sorta, and then we will start priming it and getting it ready for the rails. I already test fitted the kit to see where it would touch, and everything looks good. The holes line up pretty well. So after we get this all sanded down, get it cleaned up, we can get it primed, and then when we go to weld this on, I have to clean up this edge yet still too, but we'll have a jack underneath so it sits flat, sits straight. But I think I'm going to work back forward so that by the time I get to the front, the floor is held up by itself by the frame rails. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get this thing sanded, and we'll catch back up afterwards. All right, I do apologize. This video is just more updates than anything else, but I'm really got to try and get this stuff done and just keep going, keep getting this shit out the way, and doing what I gotta do. So I do apologize that it's mostly updates, but here we are. I got everything mostly sanded, most of the bare metal. There's still some rust, like surface stuff that I gotta clean up. I'm not gonna be able to get deep with the surface rust, so how I have it is how I'm gonna be basically good. There's 2 small holes here and 1 over there that I need to still weld, and then from there I'm going to take the weldable primer, weld through primer, and hit all of the surface bare metal surfaces that the rails are going to go under. I was going to prime the whole bed surface, but I talked to my buddy Carlos, and he said you only need to do the weld through primer on the areas where you're going to weld and any bare metal. So with that being said, I'm going to hit those 2 spots with weld, grind them down, clean it up, sand it one more time, go over any spots that I think need touched more, and then from there we can clean it. I'll blow it off, I'll vacuum it, blow it off, clean it with acetone, and it's ready for the weld through primer and the rails to get mocked up. And we can possibly get them tacked on later tonight before we leave. So alright, so I got the 2 spots that I needed welded. Now we're ready to put the primer on. Again, just gonna put it on where the rail's gonna go and any of the bare metal spots. So there's not a lot, but there were some spots that I wanted to just touch, take care of some of the spot rust or whatever. So I'm gonna go ahead and start getting this primer laid down, and we'll catch up when it's finished. All right, we got 3 coats on the bed. It's looking pretty good. It actually looks uniform for once. First light coat, wait 15 minutes. Second light coat, wait 30 minutes, and then final coat, which is top coat. So we got everything coated. Weird that even though I sprayed that multiple times, you can still see that permanent marker through there, but it's all coated, and we're gonna get ready for putting the bed rails on. I'm still unsure if I want to do this end first. This is how I saw the video, doing this end first, or do that end first. But either way, when we get to this side, because we were prying so hard trying to get the frame rail off, because this was the good frame rail, the bed kind of is kind of pushed down. So we're gonna have to either beat it up or whatever to get it to sit flat, or something, or have weight on the bed and jack up underneath here. But yeah, so I might even start in the fucking middle or something. But we're gonna go ahead and get started. I got like 5 minutes more dry time for this, and then we can go ahead and start welding. All right, we got some tacks in. Now that we got the tacks in, they're basically settled. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna vise the front of this, and I'm gonna stitch this real quick, and then we can work on jacking up the floor and getting this all to meet. And now that it's in place, we can worry about that. So I'm gonna get this front rail fully welded, and then we'll catch back up. All right, first rail is stitched on. Now, it doesn't look beautiful or anything, but it's definitely done. The welds, these were the first few welds that I was getting. I had to get used to it with this thin stuff again, but they look good. The stitching back here looks good. I wanted to be sturdy, so I stitched it on every part that I could. I didn't stitch all the way across here, didn't feel the need to, just a small stitch. And the holes line up. It's hard to see, but the holes line up there. Holes line up, so we're good. I'm gonna go ahead and get the second, third, and fourth rail on, and I'm not gonna cover all this. You guys obviously see what I gotta do. This is time consuming, so I'm just gonna pound through these, and we'll catch up when we're finished with it. And I'm glad to say the rails are welded. It's not pretty by any means, but it's gonna function for sure. All the holes are lined up. Everything is stitch welded. The front piece is stitched as well. Like I said, it's not pretty, but it'll work. This metal was hard to work with, so I did my best, you know. So, yeah, the rails are all welded. Now it's time to coat. I'm not sure if I should clean up any of the welds at all or just coat it, but I'm gonna wipe any of the dirt off. I vacuumed it already, blew it. I'm gonna blow it off real quick, make sure there's no debris left, and hit it with some undercoat and try to hit everything under here. So let's get popping. All right, guys, it's coated. I coated everything. I tried to get, as deep in the fender well as I could to get everything looking nice and even. There's small spots I need to touch up, but for the most part, it is good. This stuff is actually taking a lot longer to dry, and some stuff is just acting weird. Like, it was drying for about an hour, and I came in and there was like moisture buildup, I guess moisture. Then it caused this front tiny piece of paint to like crack or whatever. So this is good. We have to go pick up the trailer tomorrow. So tomorrow morning we're gonna flip this thing over, get it on the truck, and get the hole cut for the gooseneck, and then we can get them on the road, because they got a 3-hour drive or so. So they definitely need to be ready tomorrow. So we're gonna get here tomorrow at 7 o'clock in the morning and get this hammered and out the way. I'm gonna leave the fan on tonight, try and dry this bitch as good as possible. And tomorrow morning when we come in, I'll spray some spots, because some spots are like, I don't know if you can see, but there's like, it's bare metal, but you can see blue through it. Like you can almost see the metal. So I'll just quick go over a few spots that I see, so there's no bare metal, and then we're golden. We can throw it on the truck and get the 5th gooseneck cut out the hole and literally get everything in. I feel like we need more time, but they said they think they can do it, so we're gonna try and hammer it out so we're not late for that trailer. So also for this truck, I have to weld the exhaust, which is right here. So I'm gonna unhook the batteries, try and get that welded up before I leave. As soon as that's welded up, I'm dipping so I can get some rest and be back here tomorrow morning. All right, that's welded. Now, it's not pretty, but it's fucking rusty metal. What the fuck can you expect, right? that's welded. It's all the way around, and I'm out. See y'all in the next clip. All right, we back next day. We got everything attached on the trailer. I got these flaps back on after coating it. Trailer looks, I mean, not the trailer, the bed. The bed looks pretty good. We got all the strut bars on it to keep the fenders where they should be. And we're getting ready to put the bed back on the truck. They're going to pick up a trailer in a couple hours, so we got to get this thing moving, get it on the truck, and then after they get the trailer, they bring it back, we'll finish up the underside of the bed. So we're gonna get this thing on and get moving. It's a work truck. Yeah. But it doesn't have to be pretty. It has to be functional. And I think the truck's really sound. All right, we got the bed on the truck. As you can see, as I was saying before, this doesn't look pretty, but it's gonna work. After they get the trailer, when we bring the truck back, we're gonna get all this stuff grinded down, sanded down, make it look nice, and then coat it with bed liner, and hopefully it looks a little bit better. It's just gotta function. It was never meant to look pretty. I tried to do my best, but obviously, you know, the thin metal. But we're gonna get this on here and see him off to pick up the trailer. All right, bed's on. Tailgate's on, everything's nice. I mean, you know, doesn't look the greatest, but it'll look better once we're finished with it. But they're gonna go pick up their trailer. It's like a 3-hour drive, and then we'll continue busting out on the bed. All right, guys, so we got the truck back. They actually didn't get that trailer. They're going tomorrow to pick up a different one because the guy flaked. But we got the truck back. Like I said before, it doesn't look the greatest, but I grounded down all the welds and the big buildup that was right here because I had to weld it from this side too. Grinded it down, used the air tool, and got most of the rough paint that was around it, some of the rust and stuff. Try to get it as clean as possible. We're about to wipe it down with acetone, and then Tony got this Rust-Oleum truck bed, professional grade stuff. So it comes in 2 parts. We have to break the seal inside, mix it all together. So we're about to get that done. and then get this thing coated. We got the roll-on stuff and brush, so yeah. All right, guys, real quick, yesterday before we left, we sprayed some bed liner, just the sprayable stuff, on to cover the bare metal because we're actually on our way to go pick up a trailer, so we'll catch up when we get there. All right, guys, we're here. Trailer looks great. Definitely needs tires, might need wheel bearings. There's a little bit of play, but all in all, it's definitely worth the buy. So hold on, he's backing up to the trailer. So once we get this hooked up, see what it looks like. There we go, man. She's hooked up. I'm excited for these guys to get this business underway, start making some bank, and just ultimately working for themselves, which is really great. And that's what I'm trying to go for. So, you know, but man, it's hooked up. We're ready to roll out. We actually might go down 1 hole on the gooseneck just to make it a little more flat and even, because it's really like, it looks like it's tilted back more towards the rear wheels. So we're contemplating lowering it once, but the gooseneck's working great. The plug plugs in to where it's supposed to. Man, this is exciting. You excited, Tone?
Yeah, buddy.
Let's go. About to head out of here though. We gotta go get air in the tires. The air was actually, so the front ones was 67, this was 57, that one was 50, and then this one was 37. And you can tell these Jones is slicky in the motherfucker. So we're gonna have to get tires on it, probably get bearings on the spindles or whatever they're called. Just get bearings in the wheels because they have just a little bit of play. But we're gonna head out. We're gonna hit the road, get back to the house, and get back to the shop and get finished with this bed. All right, guys, we just got back. Got the trailer offloaded, kind of, whatever that's called. It's attached from the gooseneck, and it's up on its feet. I chalked the wheels with some automotive chalks that I have, just in case it would roll. I don't think it's going to. Trailer's in really good condition. It's a 2021. And there's literally, I would say there's no issues with it. Doesn't look like it. We did have to get 4 tires for it though, right away. They were pretty bald. The one over there that was lowest PSI actually had something that looked like a screwdriver in it. It was crazy. So we got all 4 new tires and we just made it back after a long day. So we're gonna get cracking on this bed tomorrow and finish it up. Get everything rolled in and send it on its way. All right, it's the day after. We just picked up the trailer, which is out here. And we're gonna start getting this thing coated. So the way that they say on the bag to do it is to do the walls or the sides of the bed first, work your way down, and then do the floor front to back. Seems pretty simple. So I'm gonna just clean out the bed, get it wiped off, get any of the oil residue, any dirt, whatever, wiped off of it, and then we can start mixing the stuff and start rolling it on and make it look nice. Sorry, my dudes, we skipped ahead. They gave a sanding block. I sanded everything, and they want you to work from bed sides to front to back, and then work from the floor backwards. So that's what we're doing. We got the sets. This is the first coat, so it will be darker or will be more full looking. But we got the first coat on the bed, on the sides. We're gonna possibly wait a few minutes and get the bottom. We might just throw the bottom on right now, and then we might just get the sides done, and then I'll do the floor later, because to do the sides you got to be in the bed, and if you're in the bed the floors can't be wet. So I think we're just gonna wait for this to dry. It's like 15 minutes in between coats, so 15 minutes we'll do a second coat on the sides, and then I gotta run some errands, come back later and we'll get the floor done. Well, this is one coat on the floor. We're about to put our second coat on, and then it's done. Really, we gotta put the hooks back on and the beauty ring and get the seal on there, and then so we're basically finished. So we'll get this final coat on and see what it looks like. Sheesh. This bed looks so good, bro. Looks way better than I had thought it would look. Like after all the welding and stuff, you can't even tell really. We got the second coat on here. We still have to put back in the chain mounts and uncover the hitch, the gooseneck ball, flip it back over, and we're gonna check back in a couple days though, once it's fully cured, in about 4 days, 2 or 3 days. So it takes like 4 days to cure fully. I'm gonna check it out in the sunlight and see what it really looks like. All said and done. I said before I wasn't really proud of how the welding was coming out, which I'm really not, but the truck looks really good. Everything underneath looks coated. It looks basically almost brand new. I know it's hard to see right now, but everything is good. They got the sticker on the gooseneck. Everything operates correctly. The bag's working great. When we pulled the trailer, they helped out a bunch. So definitely happier now that it's done with how it looks. So we'll catch back up in a few days when it's fully cured, and we'll get to see the final finished product when it's fully cured. Well guys, she's finished. Truck's about to go get inspected here soon, so I'm just gonna give you guys a look at the bed in pure sunlight now that it's finished. And I think this is looking really good. I stepped on it, so there's some feet marks, but obviously that'll be there. Now the only thing that I mean you can see it looks really great. There's some, obviously I stepped there too. I had to turn the gooseneck ball over, but it looks great. Like, this looks really good for what it was. There is I think there's some rust under here or something, because as you can see up in that corner, it's just some stuff falling down from underneath these panels. So I'm thinking we might have to pull these panels off in the future and see what's underneath them, try and clean it up, coat it maybe, and put these panels back on, because whatever's falling is, getting rust in the bed and stuff. But yeah, it's coated. It looks great. I'm excited. My buddies are excited. I'm gonna start this business, start moving, make some money. So I'm glad I could be a part of this. I didn't really think it looked that great at first, obviously because of the welds, but after all the work we've done to it so far, it looks so much better. And this will give you a better look at the frame and the bed. And I coated everything in here, so all this has been touched. Gooseneck, cleaned up all of the arms to support the fenders or whatever these called. But everything looks great. The other side, per DOT, I got the sticker on there for the Gooseneck. This is the lock that locks it in. You pull it out, turn it, and it locks open so you can flip the ball, and then boom, goes right back to where it needs to be. The only other thing we have to put onto the bed is on the Gooseneck trailer right here, there's a breakaway switch, and it pulls this plug out if the trailer were for some reason to break away. This piece has to be, it's got where's it at? Right here. So this has to be attached somewhere on the bed, and that's not the chain hooks. So we have to put a eyelid on the bed still, and then get that hooked on, and then we're golden. But yeah, man, she's finished. She's looking great. I'm glad to be a part of this, and I hope that they do great in their business, because it's just gonna be awesome. So that's all for this one, guys. I'll check you in the next one. Deuces.